This way, come on, follow me. I'm gonna show you where Kafka lived. No one must know this. If they found me doing this, they'd kick me right out of here. Charleston killed Kafka. Think they want that known? Charleston killed Kafka. You're murderers. You're murderers.
I'm going to be talking to you today about The Metamorphosis by Franz Kafka. Not many people know that he wrote the book in South Carolina in Charleston. He was brought here to Hollywood in the day when the studios were all vying with each other to get the big-name writers, trying to increase their cachet.
Universal got Faulkner, Columbia got Hemingway. So the fledgling studio, Disney, said, get us Kafka. Well, they hadn't read his books. They just knew that he was critically acclaimed over in Europe and among the intelligentsia in the United States. So Kafka, eager to get out of Prague, made a little mistake. Thought he was going to Hollywood, California, ended up in Hollywood, South Carolina. Now, originally, The Metamorphosis was conceived as a coming-of-age story. It was Kafka's exultation at being free of his family. Coming to America was his liberation, and he envisioned himself as an eagle, soaring from the nest, flying free. Well, what happened is he settled down in Charleston, and the bugs just overwhelmed his consciousness. Get out of here, get out of here. He couldn't escape his phobia. Whoa, 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 whoa.
Room service, open up right away. There's a bug in the room. I don't know what, it looks dangerous. It's got wings.
It symbolized somehow his own dark, scuttling unconscious fears and ugliness inside.
Breer and Joe Gibbons will be showing their collaborative works at the Shedd Center for the Arts in Port Royal. The screening will include 8 short films and an open discussion with the film's creators.
For weeks, Kafka walked the mean streets of Charleston, waiting for Hollywood to come and get him. Hollywood never called. Kafka retreated to his room, had a case of Bud Bar sent up to him every day, and he drank and he wrote, and he drank and he wrote. And pretty soon, the incipient psychosis that his mother worried about took hold. And Kafka became convinced that he was, in fact, a bug. One of the bugs that terrorized him by day and night. So is then The Metamorphosis a tale, a metaphor for society, for man's relationship to culture? No, it's a story about a man and his fear of bugs. Got him.
Good afternoon. I am Professor Herville,
and I am chief consultant here of the Melville Museum, where we have accumulated all of the accoutrements, everything that went into his great novel, Moby Dick. I've spent my life, the greater part of it, dedicated to unraveling the psychodrama, the psychohistory of that novel and of the man, Melville. There is so much bunkum about his life. It sometimes drives me crazy, but I love the man, and it's a small sacrifice to have devoted my whole life to it. This is the ship, a model of it that he wrote about. In actual fact, Herman Melville never set foot on a boat, scared of the water, couldn't swim, hated to fish even because he was so squeamish about that hooks in the fish's mouth. I want to show you around, and later I'll talk about what isn't known about Mr. Melville's life. We know that originally the book was titled Moby Richard. Richard was the name of his father.
While preaching to others, is himself a castaway.
What could the white whale stand for in Melville's iconography? Well, think about it. Take the first two letters, M and O, and Moby, and what else? Mother. Follow me. Scholars would have us believe that Moby Dick is a story about good and evil. The whale, of course, being evil, and Ahab, and trying to avenge the evil.
It's a white whale, I say.
He sees the whale epitomizing.
In your eyes for him.
He becomes evil himself. That is so wrong, wrong, wrong. The peg leg. What does that make us think of? Dismantlement, dismemberment, emasculation, castration. Have you seen my leg? She never let him go into the water. Herman, you'll drown. You can't swim. You're too weak. He never went on a boat. Never left New Bedford. Herman, you can't leave New Bedford. What are you gonna do out there without me? I quote Ahab, she tasks me.
He heaps me.
Does that sound like a whale or does that sound like a mother?
She's my mother!
Let's talk about the symbolism of the harpoon. He wanted to puncture the whale with a phallus-like instrument. Insist! Herman Melville wanted to sleep with his mother. Why? With one jabbing of the harpoon, both incest, the final penetration, and the extinction of the mother. The return, the repetition compulsion. Take that! The rope that wound around Ahab's neck symbolizes the apron strings that suffocated Herman Melville and killed him. We can never separate. We're always one with the mother. You can't go home again and live to tell about it. And that's what the book's all about. Hopeless, yes, but true, too.
Herman! Herman! Herman, what are you doing?
Separate, separate, separate.